Hello. This week is all about math. So before you go, oh, it can be fun. It can be a lot of fun in early childhood. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to see about having fun with math. Okay, so mathematical thinking, cognitive development. This is all part of it in early childhood. So let's take a look at the different kinds of mathematical thinking that you will be working on with your students. You'll be talking about numbers and operations, geometry and spatial sense, and patterns and measurement. And we'll go into each one of those in a little bit more detail here. For numbers and operations, you're going to develop number sense, which is strictly the ability to think and work with numbers and to understand their uses and relationships. And you help children develop number sense by providing many open-ended, hands-on opportunities for them to count things. Operations is simply the formal mathematical term given to the operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of numbers. So you're not going to be actually doing operations until children are in first grade, where they're doing addition and subtraction. And then in second grade, they're doing multiplication. And in third, they're doing multiplication and division. But in early childhood, you will be teaching all three, depending on what grade you're in. So numbers and operations includes things like numeration, simply identifying numbers. And the ideas, it just stands for, so how do we do that? How do we help children identify numbers? We give them many opportunities to work with objects and numbers. Estimation is another important part of numbers and operations. And we give children opportunities for making guesses. And okay, children that are very young, like 4s and 5s, have difficulty being good estimators. Even my first graders, I would have a jar. And at the beginning of the school year, I'd say, I start out with something big, like how many ping pong balls are in the jar? And I might have a dozen in there. And you'd have kids raise their hand and say 102. Just write it on the whiteboard and go down the line for anyone that wanted to make a guess. And the vast majority of them were way off. Then at the end, after that, we'd take them all out and the whole class would count out loud while we count out how many ping pong balls were in there. So as the year went on, this is first grade, they would get more adept at predicting and estimating how much was in there. They would get much closer, more accurate. But this is a skill, and it's a skill that you, the teacher, can work on by having an estimation jar that you gradually include smaller and smaller items in, so that the numbers that they count to get higher and higher. Numbers and operations also includes cardinality. How many items are in a set? It's the ability to look at a set and instantly know what the number is. For instance, on dominoes, it's the ability to look at those 3 little dots and 3 little dots and know that's 6. That's cardinality. Ordinality is place in line, first, second, third, fourth, so on and so forth. And we did that all the time just by children lining up, because in my class, I always line them up by their first letter of their first name, so that we would have our place in line and there was no pushing and no shoving. But ordinality, they knew place in line. I'm first, I'm second, I'm third, I'm fourth, I'm student of the day, so I'm first. Ordinality. Numbers and operations includes a lot. So it also includes place value, and you will be teaching this to a certain degree. Obviously, you're not going to do this with 4-year-olds. You might count days in school, but you're not going to teach hundreds, tens, and ones. But if you're teaching first grade, you will undoubtedly have a little container that looks like this to count the number of days in school. And you start out with your popsicle sticks and the ones. And then you have your popsicle sticks with the rubber bands around them for their tens. And then eventually you'll have a great big bunch of popsicle sticks, and that will be your hundreds. So that is a great way to count place value. Numbers and operations includes one-to-one correspondence. That's something that you can very easily practice in housekeeping centers. You see this child doing 1 plate per placemat, 1 napkin per placemat, 1 spoon per placemat, 1 cup per placemat, 1 to 1 to 1. Now, this is an exercise that we do in my class. And I did this with my first graders a lot. I would say, take out a piece of paper and then fold it the long way. That's the hot dog fold. Then open it up, fold it again, and fold it the wide way. And there's the hamburger fold. So you've got the hot dog fold, the hamburger fold. Then you open it up and you draw with a pencil. You just draw a line down each one of the folds. So you've got your 4 squares. It's called a 4 square. And then I take out some coins. And I tell them, here, let's count out. We're going to have 84 cents. But I don't show them how I make 84 cents. I just have them in my hand. And I write 84 cents on the board. And then I tell them, I want you in each one of these squares to draw the coins, enough coins to make 84 cents, 4 different ways. Divergent thinking. More than one way to make 84 cents. How many different ways are there? Well, and then we come up with it and we note it on the whiteboard. Each one is very interesting how many different ways you can make 84 cents. You can do this for any dollar amount, but it's fun, and it gives children an opportunity to see how many different ways there are. Next thing you'll be teaching is geometry and spatial sense. Most often you're going to be talking about your shapes and their attributes. You need to give children lots and lots of opportunities to work with shapes, blocks, 1 and 2 dimensional. What you see down here on the PowerPoint is red Play-Doh with spaghetti. It's a really easy way for them to make 3-dimensional shapes. And it's usually not something that they want to eat. Now you can also use marshmallows and pretzels, and those will be snacks. But it's lots of fun. I've done it both ways, and it's always fun. You'll also be teaching patterns and measurement, things such as sorting patterns, ABC, all those different patternings with beads. Or you can order from smallest to largest. You could also order from heaviest to lightest. And that's called, you can seriate, order objects that vary by color, size, or other characteristic. Measurement can be done in standard and non-standard units. Until first grade, you use non-standard units. You can use paper clips, crayons, shoes, whatever it is, Unifix cubes. In first grade, they introduce inches and feet and a yard. Learning about patterns and measurement is a great way to introduce charts and graphs, especially if you do it with something that's fun, like my favorite apple is red. So there you go. You give each child an apple and let them color it in their whatever was their favorite, and then they get to put it up on the graph. You only have to make one of these graphs one time, just laminate it, and then every year you can just pull it out of the closet and reuse it. You can do that by eye color, you know, my eye color is, and there you have it, or types of pets. I have a cat, I have a dog, and what I have both, or I have a different kind of pet, have 4 different rows, all good. Then I'd like you to go ahead and take a few minutes to watch this video. This is such a good video. It's about teaching math. And the basis for it is Dr. Constance Camille's way of teaching mathematical concepts. It's unique. It's one that's based on letting children figure it out for themselves rather than just giving them a formula and say, okay, memorize the formula and here it is, have at it. This allows them to really understand. Just take a few minutes and just kind of see what you think about that. Okay. So one of the ways that make math fun and help to tie it into what we're doing in language arts is having math games based on children's literature. And you had an article to read this week that was all about that, creating homemade math games to go with books. And you can do this to encourage math concepts being learned in a variety of ways. Moving from space to space supports one-to-one correspondence. When you're throwing the dice, they're counting for a purpose, not just to count. When you twist the spinner with numbers on it, you have number recognition and counting practice. There's a lot of social interaction. There's turn taking. There's sharing of the equipment. And sometimes you have to incorporate some pretty higher level thinking strategies if you come up with a problem during a game. So that's one of the reasons that you are going to create a math game, and it's going to be based on a book. Any children's book that you wish to base it on. We're going to talk about this a little bit more. And that's the end of the PowerPoint. So let me get out of this and go to the rest of what we're going to do. Okay, this is not due until October 4th. So you've got a little bit before this is due. But I would like you to find a book that lends itself to a math game. That you can think of how that might look. Read the article first. It's very informative on how to create them. After that, create a math game. Create a board game. Not a card game, a board game. Where you've got some kind of board that you've laminated. And then you're going to create a video. Since you can't bring it to class, I'd like to see it. Bring it to a table, turn on your video camera, and explain, okay, I created this game because this is my purpose. This is what I hope children will get out of it from playing the game. Hold up the book that you base the game on and explain how it relates. Explain all the game board necessary game pieces, and please laminate them if they're a paper, because you know, games just tear up. And I'm not saying kids are rough, because some are very gentle, but in general, if you play it in class, it's going to be ruined if it's not laminated. And I hate for people to waste their time. So make a game you can use in your class. Decide what age group you want it for. It can be for 4-year-olds. It can be for kindergarten. It could be for first, second, or third. It's your choice. And then you're going to want to make sure you keep this together in some kind of box. So find a durable box, put a label on it with the name of your game. It'd be nice if you decorated it to match the game. Not absolutely necessary, but it would be nice. And have all of this on your video. And then make sure, one of the things I want to point out about your video too is make sure that you include how it worked when children played it, because this really has to be played with kids. So you're going to have to find somebody. You can take it to work and have kids play with it. I don't need them on video. Just tell me what happened. You can have the neighbor's kids playing. You have your own kids playing. That's fine. But make sure you've tried it out on children. And then you're going to make the video. If you have trouble uploading your video to assignments in Blackboard, please send it to me as an email attachment. I'm perfectly fine with that. As long as I can see it, I don't care where it is, okay? But on assignments in Blackboard, you're going to have to post 3 things. Your materials list, all the materials that we need to play the game. You know, we need the board, we need your game pieces, whatever else goes with your game. Then the next thing is we need your Oklahoma academic standards that your game addresses and the age range. So, you know, if it's a game for, say, kindergarten, go to the kindergarten standards and tell me what are they going to learn? What's your point in coming up with this game? And number 4 down here in purple, complete instructions for playing your game. So if your game was left in my classroom and I put it on a table for students to use, then they could just read your instructions and start playing. So that's what you're going to upload by October 4th to assignments on Blackboard. Now, I am going to upload another video to our week 6 announcement page on Blackboard by Tuesday afternoon, just so you know. I'm at home making this video and I don't have access to my math games that students have made in the past, but they're in my office at work. And on Tuesday morning, when I go into work, I'm going to pull them out and lay them all out on my desk and make a video so you can see what math games that students made to go with a particular book look like. So that one will be posted on this page within 2 days. And it's always nice to have an example. Okay. If you have any questions about anything I talked about this week, please contact me. We'll set up a Zoom appointment and we'll chat about it. Hope you have a wonderful week. Bye.